Alright everyone, this is going to be our intro to Python. We're going to start off with dance steps. So we're going to learn how to do some different things with making our sprites move around and all that kind of good stuff. So we have to know the difference between different types of data. We've got integers and strings, how to differentiate between those two things. We're going to use dot notation to control the sprite's movement, and use a series of commands to establish order in a program. So remember, when we run our programs, it goes from the top down to the bottom. So the order matters. We can look at some examples over here. What your final product might end up looking like, where you're going to have a sprite do some different dances. So here we have our sprite. This sprite is different because it has, you can see on the code over here, it's got head, body, and legs are three different sprites, and they can help move them together, right? Alrighty, did you get the idea? Example number 2 here. This is one single sprite, not one sprite split up into 3 parts like the last one. But this one, you notice that the sprite says what it's going to do before it does it. And for your final product, you'll have to make sure that that's part of your program. Now it's your turn. All right. And the last one is relatively simple. But again, you notice that the sprite tells us what the sprite is going to do before it does it. You also got some cool stuff, like you can see, like the sprite uses a red font. And it looks like a lot of stuff over here, but it's not that. A lot of it is going to be copying and pasting and redoing things over and over again. That's part of coding, is reusing stuff. Alrighty, let's get started. So this is an example of the program you'll be building today. Click Run to see the example. Alright, so you get this little girl, I'm assuming, and she does a little flips and stuff like that. Does some jumps. Relatively long program. But again, you do it in steps. Let's take a look at the ticket here. This is new to Intro to Python. Now we have a ticket. Let's click on the ticket. It's nice and highlighted over here. Click on the ticket. What type of code is green? So over here we have this type of, we have the word concert and person. They're both in quotation marks, and they're both, it's text. So you can say text is green. Watch the sprite dance on the stage. And what type of code is blue? Sorry, that was the second part of the question. The blue part are the numbers, like the integers. We'll call them numbers right now. We don't know about integers yet. I mean, we do, but. Next question, number 2. Watch the sprite dance on the stage and write down the first 3 dance moves in order. All right, so first we have the background set, the concert one. Then we have the person 1 sprite set up with the variable over here. Then we have the set speed is 3. It's not really a dance move. Let's say the first dance move is it moves down. Then it flips upside down. And then it moves left. Those are the first 3 moves. I mean, I guess you could kind of think of setting the speed as a dance move, but I don't know. I'll be fine with either one as far as your answers go. Let's set up our dance scene. Go to stage and drag out a background. So go to stage over here. Background's already set. We're going to want concert. So find concert. There it is. I highlight it for you and everything. Go to sprites and drag out person 4. Person 4. Drop it at the bottom of your program. All right. So we've got a concert. We got person 4. We got this dude over here. Great. Check plus. Submit work. Next lesson. Activity. Let's change the sprite's image label. Replace person 4 with the image of any sprite you choose, for example, person 1. Alright, so if you go to sprites over here, they have a lot of different things. Alright, I'm going to choose a skeleton. Now when you do it, you don't want to delete the quotation marks. You want to delete just the stuff inside it. Because if you delete the quotation marks, it's not a string anymore. Like say I get rid of this one over here. You see now the text is orange. Now it thinks that we're talking about a variable, but we don't. Our parameter, all right, the stuff inside the parentheses, for this sprite, it has to be a string. So we call anything that is in quotes a string. A string can contain words, letters, sentences, or symbols. So the stuff inside, it just kind of just treats it as text rather than code. It kind of treats it as text. Well, it's part of the code essentially, but it's not a the stuff that if you put in 5 plus 3 inside of it and you tell it to print it out, it would print out 5 plus 3. It wouldn't print out 8. That's one way to think about it. Strings are always green and surrounded by quotes. Great. Oh, if we got to click save and run first. Make sure we got it right. So now I've got my skeleton sprite over here. Great job. Thank you. This meant work. Next activity. We can use an action command to make our sprite move down. So we're going to use dot notation to make our sprite move around. So go to actions, drag out a move down. Move down. Alright, and drop that on the program. Did that. Change the integer in the move down command to 100. So right now it's at 50. They've changed the integer, which is our whole number over here, and they color coded blue to 100. So it moves down from 50, moves down a little bit more to 100. Great, check plus. This meant work. Here are a few questions for you to check to see what you've learned so far. Answer the questions to the right by clicking on the correct answers. So the first question, which of the following is a string? Now we know that strings have quotation marks around them. Nothing else here has quotation marks except for C. Which of the following is an integer? Integers are whole numbers. 2.5, while it is a number, it's not a whole number. It's it has a decimal. So C is 50. What color are strings in the editor? Remember, strings have quotation marks around them, and they are green. Great. Submit work. Next activity. This program has a bug, which means we need to debug it. All sprite image labels are strings. They should be green and surrounded by quotes. Click run and read the error message. All right, so let's click run. Uh-oh, name person 5 is not defined on line 3. So line 3 over here, see how it's orange? Now we're thinking that it's a variable, but we don't have any variable called person 5. We only have a variable called sprite. We have the stage too, if you want to think about that as a variable. So we got to put quotation marks around it. Now it says, all right, because remember for the sprite, it's expecting an image label, which is a string. So it goes and looks in the Codesters library for something called person 5, and then finds it there. All right, so we got check plus. This program has a bug, which means we need to debug it. Move down commands have integer parameters. Integers are blue and not surrounded by quotes. So let's click run. See what happens? We got our Hedgie the Hedgehog over here. Over here, parameter for move down must be an integer on line 5. So over here, this is a string. We need an integer. Integers don't have quotation marks around them. They're just whole numbers. If you put quotation marks around it, it makes it a string. And you see Hedgie the Hedgehog moves down over here. Let's use a flip command to make the sprite stand on its head. From actions, drag out a flip up down command. So go to actions. You're going to find flip up down. There we go. Drop it at the bottom. Notice that the flip up down command does not take any parameters. It runs once each time it is used. So we don't have to have, we have our parentheses over here, but we don't have anything inside the parentheses. It doesn't need any parameters. But you still need your parentheses there. So now our skeleton is on its head. Now have the sprite move across the stage on its head. Sounds painful. Go to actions, drag out move right. Go to actions over here. I'm going to say move right. and drop it at the bottom of your program. Change the integer in the move right command to 150. Right now it's 50. We're going to change it to 150. So it's going to move right some more. Zoop, over here by the speaker. Great. Now move the sprite back to the other side of the screen. So it's going to go to the left. Go to Actions. Drag out Move Left. And make it 200. So not 50 or 150, but 200. Zoop, zoop. And get the floor nice and clean. Your hair all dirty though. Oops. It's a bit of work. Next activity. Let's flip the sprite again. So now we're gonna flip up down. So right now it's upside down. We can flip it right side up. Go to Actions. Go to Flip Up Down. And that's it. We'll do it after it, drags its head across the floor, and then flips right side up. All right, let's submit our work. Keep going. We're almost halfway done. We're more than halfway done. This program has a bug, which means it needs to be fixed. Rule: you must create a sprite before you assign a command. Programs run in order, top to bottom. So let's run our program. Name sprite is not defined on line 3. Okay. So if we look on line 3, line 1 is we have our baseball field stage. Line 2, or line 3, the next command, I guess, is sprite.setSpeed, but we haven't said what sprite is. So you have to define what something is before you can use that variable, right? Control X. Let's get rid of that one. Let's paste it up here. So before we can set the sprite speed, first we have to say what a sprite is. So our sprite equals this. So when we see our equals sign in front of whatever's on the left-hand side, it's going to be whatever our sprite name is, or variable name is. In this case, it's just sprite. And what's on the right-hand side is what the value of that variable is. So our sprite is the Codesters.sprite with image label of person2. And then we can move it around. So let's submit it. Save and run. All right, you're moving all over the field here, number 7. There we go. Next activity. Our sprite is moving too fast. We need to place the set speed command before any movement that will use the speed setting. In Actions, so go to Actions. Drag out set speed, drop it before the move down command. So I'm going to go over here, give myself a little space. Go to Actions, go to set speed. And they want the set speed. Try changing the integer in the set speed command. Can you make the sprite move faster, slower? Set the integer speed to the speed that you want. All right, let's try, I don't know, let's try 7. See what happens. All right, it moved a lot faster. So if the bigger the number, the faster it moves. Creative choice, thank you. 7 is a pretty good number. Warning: our program has a bug, which means we need to fix it. I need another cup of coffee, right? Logic error. So again, a logic error is going to, in this case, is going to be our program might still run, but it doesn't work the way that we want it to. The set speed command affects only actions that come after it. So click Run and watch the stage to see the error. So this is the speed that we want our sprite to move at. This is the speed that our sprite moves at. It's way too fast. So we need to set the speed to 1 before it moves. So let's take this set speed to 1 and put it up here. Now let's try it. Nice and slow. Nice and slow. So again, the computer goes from top to bottom and goes. It's very literal as far as the order of commands that goes. So if we tell a sprite to move at a speed of 1, or we want it to move at a speed of 1, but we haven't told it to move at a speed of 1 yet, even though we know what we want, but the computer only does it exactly the way that it's written. All right, time to use the turn command to make our sprite do a flip. So go to Actions and drag out turn left. So let's find turn left. And change the integer in the turn left command to 360. So right now it's at 90. We want to make it 360 to spin all the way around. That was cool. All right. Check plus. Save or submit work. Next activity. Let's make another dance move. Go to actions, all right, and drag out flip right left. Flip right left. Excellent. Drop it at the bottom of your program. In actions, drag out wait. Let's go back up to wait over here. And change the integer in the wait command to 1. All right, so now this is the integer here is how many seconds it's going to wait before it flips. But right now we haven't had anything to do before it does anything else. So our stage.wait says pause everything on our stage, and then after this, whatever amount of time is inside our parentheses here for our parameter, then we'll do the next thing. Right now we don't have anything after this, but we'll add in some more stuff next. All right, so you see now we've flipped to the other side, but since our speed is 7, it kind of went kind of fast. Now it's just pause, and that's it. But now we're going to add in some more stuff. All right, we can take this into a dance move by repeating the action. So go to actions again, do flip right left, and we're going to do this 6 times. Drag another wait. Change that right to 1. So the sprite does this move 6 times. Right now we have it 2 times. So we want to make this happen 6 times. So I'm going to just copy this. Control C, or you can do right click copy, right? And then paste is Control V. So that's 4 times, 6 times. All right, I'm going to slow it down a little bit. 7 too fast. I'll make it 4. All right, let's try it one more time. All right, great. Submit work. Next activity. Logic error. This program has a bug, which means we need to fix it. All right, let's click run and see what happens. Did you add a wait command? We did not. So click run. Debug the program by adding a wait command in the correct place and setting it to wait for 1 second. So let's take a look at our code here. We have our stage is flowers. Our sprite is this kitten. Then we flip up, down, flip up, down. Now we don't see the flip between. Right now, all we see is just go up. Let's run it one more time. You can see. I mean, technically, it flips upside down and then flips right side up, but we don't see it because it happens so fast. There's no pause in between. So between these, we're going to have to add in a stage.wait for 1 second. They want. And you see, it flipped upside down. There wasn't. It started off flipped upside down, and then it waits 1 second and it flips right side up. Say that one more time. See, it starts off, flips upside down, and then waits a second, flips the other way. There we go. Here are a few questions for you to check what you have learned. All right, let's answer these. Got a sprite moving around a little bit. Great. Let's look at our code. So we have sprite equals coaster.sprite_person2. Excellent. Sprite.set speed to 10. Then he moves right for 100. Then he gets a little bit faster at 3. And then he glides to 0, negative 100. Okay. Based on the code to the left, what is the sprite's speed when he moves right? So when he moves right, the speed right before it is 10. So it's 10. So here's 10, and then he moves right. He got slower when he went to 3, not faster. Because the speed was 10, and then it moves down to 3. Anyways, which part of the following code in the editor is a string? Remember, strings have quotation marks around it. That's the only one that has a quotation mark around it. Which line of code uses the integer correctly? Sprite.move left 200. Right, it's not this one, because this one has quotation marks around 200. So that makes it a string, not an integer. This one, the 200, is not inside our parentheses, so it can't be used as a parameter. And this one, we don't have parentheses, and it has quotation marks around it, so it's double wrong, right? So the only one that makes any sense is this one over here, A. Now customize your program. Make sure you complete these minimum technical requirements. Change the background or your sprite image label. Alright, so I'm going to go to change the background to Let's see, let's get rid of it from concert. Let's get rid of this. Haunted house interior. So it's fine. That's step 1. Add more actions or add more action commands to make the dance longer. All right, so now we have all this flip upside down stuff. Let's do some more spin moves. It doesn't have to be huge. Really, all we need to do is do like 1 or 2 more moves. All right. Do I want to make a move over to the right? More like in the middle. That's fine. That 50 is fine. And then he's gonna do some turns. Turn left. He's gonna do a 360. Not 3600. Then we're gonna pause the stage for 1 second. Then sprite dot turn right 360. Add a second sprite. Remember to give your sprite a new name. Use actions to make it dance. All right, so add a new sprite. Go to sprites. Let me see. Let's do, I don't know, person 6 is fine. Now I have to give this a new variable name, because if I call it sprite, then it's not gonna. It'll be. I already have something called sprite, so I can't have 2 things called sprite. So I'm gonna call this one, I don't know, Joe. All right, Joe. Now I'm gonna just do the same things over here. Copy this, right? Paste this. But now I have. If I run this program the way it is right now, the first sprite, my skeleton is going to do the dance moves over again. I have to have Joe do some dance moves. So I'm going to Joe. So everything that's sprite, I have to change it to Joe. 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 More Joe. It's probably an easier way to do this, but too lazy to figure it out. Joe. Probably giving myself more work in the long run, right? Joe. So I don't want to change all the sprites. I just want to change the ones that is Joe's dance. Alright. I'm going to make him move a little bit different. Let me see. So he doesn't end up in the exact same spot. Let me see. I'm going to move it over here. He's going to move right 100. So they end up next to each other. Let's see what that looks like. There you go, not bad. Alrighty, I got my check plus. Let's submit my work. Next activity. So the final activity is, let's take a look at it, is you're going to have to create a dance, like we saw in the final the examples that we saw at the very beginning of the project. Let's get started. This is the one I did. Let's take a look at it before I show you how I went about it. I have my dragon. I am the ultimate dancer. Check out my jump moves. Jump, jump, jump. Who shall challenge me? I accept thy challenge, beast. Check thyself before thy wreck thyself. Jump, jump, jump. A fine jump. What can you do? Spin moves? I like my sound effects. Tis but a paltry task. Easy. Behold my ultimate move. Flippy, flappy, flippity flip. Zap. You cheated. How dare you. Verily, I have won. I don't know, wizard. I think you cheated. So they have some good examples over here. They have the cha-cha slide. I can't really play this because it gets blocked on YouTube. But if you want to watch this video, you can. It kind of gives you some idea of what your dance moves might end up looking like. But let's take a look at the ticket over here. Create a project plan, or create project planner. Use this project planner before you begin your create project to help structure your work. So this will help you, if you do this ticket over here, to kind of make sure that you hit all the marks that you need to hit in order to get a good grade on this project. So the first thing is, tell me what the goals are. You can find the goal in the instructions and the specific requirements in the comments in the coder. You can also view an example project. So this is what I set the goals were. To build a sprite dance routine, you have to set up the stage and the sprite, use the say command to have the sprite describe the moves, and have the sprite say 5 different moves. So that's what I wrote down here. And I got this from the comments over here. You see get all these comments. So it starts off with the hashtag, the gray stuff. Remember, these are things that the computer just ignores. These are notes for ourselves or for our fellow coders. Describe your project. So I have a dragon will challenge you to a dance-off. A wizard will accept the challenge. Use pseudocode to start writing your project. Now, pseudocode is just code, basically it's what you want to happen. You're just going to writing it in plain English or whatever language you want to write it in, and describe what you want to happen. And then you're going to do that with a comment. You see over here I have, on line 8, a dragon with a field for a background. My lights turned off. Stage.set background forest. Right. And then I have my sprite, coaster sprite, blah, 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 is my dragon, and I have it start at a certain spot. And then over here, the dragon will jump up and down 5 times. So that's my pseudocode. And then I describe what's going to happen. And then after I do all my pseudocode, then I go about doing the actual code. The timer on the lights is connected to the other side of this Mahia side of the room. Start building your project. So then you actually do the code. And then step 5 is a self-check. When you're finished, don't forget to check your end product with your step 1 goals. Did you meet all of the assignment requirements? I did, yes, thank you. Did you meet your personal goal? I did. My personal goal was this step over here. Dragon will challenge you to a dance-off. Wizard will accept the challenge. Did you include comments with pseudocode? I did. You see, all through my steps over here, again, I went above and beyond what you have to do. But if you want to get that exceeds expectations, you don't have to be as complicated as my project, but you at least have to meet the minimum requirements, and then do a little bit of extra. So if you after you submit your work and you go on to the next activity, one part over here is don't just click this automatically go to class page. You have to do your reflection as part of your grade. Click submit reflection. And then you're going to go ahead and answer this question. This is what I wrote. I think this project was complicated but fun. The best part was having the wizard sheet at the end and making the dragon disappear. I also used 2 sprites when I only had to use 1. I also liked having the wizard use old-timey language. So basically you're just telling me a little bit about what were the different challenges you had for your project. And what did you like about it, what did you not like about it. And then from there you'll get your grade based off of how well your code ran, how well you finished all of the requirements, and how you showed me that you didn't just copy and paste some stuff. So your development process, if all you did is copied and pasted it from one of the examples, that's not really much of a development. That's just you copying and pasting. So think about those sorts of things as you're doing your project. I hope this helps you, and I'll go ahead and post this video up on YouTube, and I will see you guys later today.